It's Sue Kelberg with KENS 5. We are on Applewhite Road, and on the off chance that we are streaming video, I'm here to give you a little update about what is going on in South Bexar County, south of 1604. We're trying to be up on a hill here where you can get a viewpoint of what is going on here. A fire that started around the 6 o'clock hour on Silver Mountain Road. And what we have confirmed so far from Bexar County PIO, Public Information, and from ESD2, Emergency Services District 2, is that they were called out here for a large brush fire around 6 o'clock. They said that initially no homes have burned, no people have been hurt. That's the big news of the evening. But there are at least 29 families evacuated off of the Silver Mountain area, and they have traffic shut down at 1604 and Applewhite. Now, I don't know how long this closure continues, how far south it goes, but I do know that at 1604 and Applewhite, nobody is being allowed to go into the fire zone, which is approximately, according to Google Map, 2.3 miles down the road. That's why you're seeing the smoke in the distance. It's because we have been held back from the actual fire ground. Now, we have seen, and I've talked to several people, see you see a truck that's leaving the area right now. I've talked to several people who are leaving the area. They are not in the evacuation zone. They just have, everybody that I've talked to so far has said that they are leaving the area voluntarily. Now, we have seen people from ESD2, ESD6. I saw a vehicle from the Emergency Management Office come by, and we have managed to confirm with San Antonio Fire that the San Antonio Fire has dispatched an unknown number of fire apparatus to assist in this fire. And here comes another one, another emergency vehicle entering the fire ground. Let's see what this one is. We've also seen DPS troopers, by the way. And I said that because this guy seemed like a black and white, I don't know. That one says Atascosa County. So we're obviously still in Bexar County, but the farther south you go here, south of 1604, obviously it gets close to the Atascosa County line. So repeating what I know from the top, in case you're just joining us on the stream, this brush fire, wildland fire, got underway around 6 o'clock in far South Bexar County, south of Loop 1604. And around Applewhite Road. Initially, it was called to Silver Mountain Road, east of Applewhite Road. But now it really looks like the smoke is drifting or traveling west of Applewhite Road. And here comes another emergency vehicle. We're going to watch this one and see who this is. It's leaving the area. This one says Bexar County Sheriff. Now, we've been told also, here comes another emergency vehicle from the north. It's just a very active scene. They're urging all people, by the way, to stay away from the area if you don't have any business being here. As you can see, there's just a steady stream of emergency. And then, look, there's another one behind him. Texas Towing. I don't know what that's about. So maybe somebody's getting their vehicles out of the danger zone. Here comes another vehicle with flashing lights going into the fire zone at Silver Mountain and Applewhite, south of Loop 1604. I'm going to just take a wild guess and say that's probably a volunteer firefighter going to help his fellows, because there are also volunteer companies from around the area responding. And so I'm going to take a walk out onto the road here and see if the smoke is, oh yeah, the smoke is. Hey, Stephen, if you come down here, the smoke is much blacker. Might give people a better view. Right down there. That is about, I guess, where Silver Mountain Road is. And you might stand out of the road because there comes, I see more flashing lights coming this way. But yeah, so from where we are, I'm just going to go ahead and say 2.3 miles according to the map. The majority of the blacker smoke is coming from the due south on Applewhite Road, which is down there where Silver Mountain is. And so we're just going to continue. Now, we have been told that there is a public information officer from ESD 2, Emergency Services District 2, that it's their scene. We've been told that their public information officer is en route and that he's going to be up there at the command post. The challenge is that when you get up there to the command post, the view of the smoke is almost all obscured by trees. So I just wanted to be on the record with the fact that there's a lot of smoke on the horizon, and then you're going to have to take a little walk with us in a minute and go back up the hill to where we can get to the folks that are going to be theoretically giving us information when they get here on scene. In the almost 2-hour mark, if this thing broke out around 6, like they say, we're almost at the 8 o'clock hour. And so we're going to try to get more hard and fast information for you as we go along here. On the south side of Bexar County, south of 1604, around the Applewhite area. The street that you're looking at now is Applewhite Road. So I'm going to tune in. I've been looking at different pages to see what people are saying, to see what hard and firm information we can confirm out here. I did see earlier that State Representative John Lujan posted some stuff on his Facebook page earlier. If you have access to Facebook, he said Silver Mountain Drive evacuation underway in South Bexar County. He said a fast-moving brush fire near 1610 Silver Mountain Drive has grown to 45 acres with 0% containment. A mass notification has been issued for an evacuation of that area due to the brush fire. Currently, 30 homes have been evacuated. He says evacuees can seek refuge at Elmendorf City Hall, and first responders are working hard to control the fire, including aerial water drops from San Antonio fire. Now, I have not seen any aerial water drops since I got here, but maybe that happened before I got here. He also goes on to say he's in contact with the Texas Division of Emergency Management and local officials, and they're monitoring the situation and will provide updates. So that was Representative John Lujan a while ago. Maybe I can go back over to his page and see if he has posted an update. You all can be citizen reporters if you want to join in. And if you've got confirmed information that you want to add to the comments or to the feed, I hope you'll join me and jump into the conversation, because this is one of those situations where lives could be on the line. I don't know what the temperature is right this minute, but it's hot, and these first responders are battling heat, and that is a racing car. You know, we've heard that when I was on the way down here. I heard it on the scanner several times. The people who were trying to do traffic control were saying that cars were racing around them. You know, people were having a hard time with the idea that they couldn't take the direct route to their home. So, all right, Representative Lujan has not posted any updates, so let's see what else we can find for you. Feel free to chime in, y'all. You can help me out here. Thank you, sir. We're going to head that way. All right. So they want us to go that way. So you're going to get a little bit of an earthquake view for a few minutes here while we reposition ourselves. It's, I'm going to say, a quarter mile up the road.
Media is at 1604 in Applewhite.
Yes. We've got a stream going we're trying to shut down. All right, here's what I'm going to make an executive decision. Web team, play along with me. Shut the feed down for now. We've got about a quarter to a half-mile walk to get up to the top of the hill where they are redirecting us. So if you're staying with us, we'll be back up in a minute as soon as we walk back up this long hill, and we will bring the feed back up as soon as we get to the designated media staging area. From Applewhite and 1604. Ooh, now I do see. Did you see that helicopter? They are doing water drops.
I got a couple.
You have them. Okay, awesome. They're so...
like reporting it? Because I have the application, but I've been checking and so far nothing is on it.
Yeah, we were streaming, but they kicked us out, so we're going to start streaming
Try to
again.
get the application, please. Thank
Tell
you.
me.
I need medication. I live at a 2-month drive. There's a fire going on right now. And all I was asking the sheriff is to allow me to get the medication.
Can you back up on our street?
They're gonna try to. Yeah.
But they push you all the way down here, huh?
I mean, like literally 2 miles away. So I don't know why. Spell my name, my last name correct.
Sorry.
That's the thing. 857-7450. Yeah, man, I'm surprised that you knew how to spell my name. My last name. Yeah, Camarillo, yeah. I tell people it's like Amarillo, Texas, just put a C in the front.
Be safe, sir. So they bumped you back here? There's no way to get in. I tried multiple ways.
Forest Service logo on that truck with a piece of heavy equipment that is going to go back there and do fire breaks here in South Bexar County. As you can see, we are at a block-off point, a choke point, where they are not allowing people into the fire ground. We are at Loop 1604 and Applewhite Road, and we have been told that we need to stay in this media staging area that is approximately 2 miles or so from the actual fire ground. If you want to follow along, this is the Texas Forest Service website, or this is fire, oh, it's an app. What's the name of the app? Watch Duty app, if you want to follow along. They have named this the Silver Mountain Fire. They're saying 2200 block of Silver Mountain. Oh wow, when we first came here, it was at 45 acres. Watch Duty app is saying it's 300 acres, 0% containment, active fire scene. The last update was 2 minutes ago. That is the Watch Duty app on your phone if you want to follow along. Now, let me talk a little bit about what else I have managed to gather while I've been here for the last hour or so. And the web team is just going to have to follow along because we're going to be getting information as we go along. Yeah, 300 acres is the last estimate that we received. 30 homes were evacuated when they first started talking about evacuations. They said that the evacuees were welcome to show up at there's a Bexar County Office of Emergency Management truck that is on duty, so the evacuees were welcome to show up at the Elmendorf City Hall, which is not too far from here. So that is one resource that people in the area who want to leave or who have been evacuated will be able to use as a resource as the evening progresses, because from the place where they've evacuated us, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to see smoke on the southern horizon. We are north of the fire, and I'm walking around the containment area here, the media zone, and really you're looking at clouds. I mean, you can barely see smoke. That stuff that looks like gray clouds, that's actually smoke from this 300-acre fire in South Bexar County, near Applewhite Road, probably about 3 miles south of Loop 1604 if you want to look at it on the map. Now, we have been told that it's a fire. The fire ground is being contained and commanded by ESD2, Emergency Services District 2, and that one of their public information officers is on the way to give us an update. But we are at the media staging area, and I have yet to see anybody show up to give us hard information. But I can tell you that we did see the helicopter that has been pressed into service flying to drop water on the fire. And I'm also going to go out on a limb and say that the smoke is not significantly darker or bigger than it was when I first pulled up. But we also have to consider the wind speeds. If you guys are weather gurus and can look at the wind speed, when I got here the winds were out of the east at 6, and it appears that they are still out of the east. Light and variable is what I would say, and that's going to be a factor. It's also still pretty hot out here, and these firefighters are battling the heat as well. Now you can see that the road is completely blocked down, Applewhite. You cannot go south, and some of these people are just stuck. You might be able to see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 trucks over there, over in the distance with the people that are still trying to get southbound on Applewhite Road. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 people who haven't given up yet, and they're still on the roadway. 95 degrees right now, humidity 34%, winds are out of the east at 8. So those are all factors that we're going to have to continue to watch. Now let me see if I can count the number of cars. Those are just people who are stuck here for the moment. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 vehicles stuck here that I can see, and then there's probably a half dozen more here up here on the hill where we are, people that are just stuck. Now I just talked to a man named Camilo Camarillo a few moments ago, and he was making his best case to a deputy. He said he actually lives on Silver Mountain, and he needs to get home because he has a relative who needs medication tonight, and he needs to be able to get to that medication. And as far as we know, we haven't had any information provided to us yet about what people who need into the area, what they're going to be able to do as the evening progresses, because if we're still at 0% containment as the sun begins to set, it is going to be a long night, and the danger is only going to continue to increase for these firefighters who are out here in rough terrain. I'm walking off a little bit in case the audio gets a little flaky. You know, I'm just just trying to see what's going on here to give you a better idea of what we're facing here. You know, this in case you haven't looked at the map yet, we are practically in the shadow of the Toyota plant. I mean, the Toyota plant is just, I don't know, within a mile of us to the north. So we can see it from the Toyota plant. Yes, I bet you can, because we see you, Toyota plant folks. And I'm going to put my notes down so I can juggle 2 or 3 more things here. At the corner of Applewhite and Loop 1604. Just stick with us. I'm continuing to gather information as we can. I'm scanning the web on my phone as time allows. We do know that there's another earth-moving machine that looks like it's trying to get into the fire ground. You know, one method that they do use for fire containment is to create fire breaks, and that means that they go in with heavy equipment and they actually make roads, for lack of a better word, breaks in the brush, so that when the fire starts to go that way, they can maybe stop it in its tracks. So we'll see if they're going to allow that guy with the heavy equipment into the area. Okay, now I'm hearing stuff on the scanner that normally we wouldn't repeat. So I'm going to wait until I get some official word of what they're saying oh look, it looks like they're going to let the guy in. Joanne says she could see the smoke from 16 toward Poteet. God bless everyone involved. So once again, we are waiting for the public information officer from ESD to, wow. You know, since you're not looking at anything, Stephen, why don't you, can you show the folks at home the sunset? Look at that beautiful sunset. Holy Toledo. In the midst of everything we got going on here. We're just going to spend 30 seconds watching the sunset while I look for new information that might be available out there online. It's nice, right?
We're still singing.
The watch duty. Oh, that's beautiful. Nice job. So we're going to just give you a little bit of peace here while the rest of the world is running around trying to put out a massive fire. 300 acres in size in South Bexar County, south of Loop 1604. And I would just urge you that, you know, if you have to come up here to the fire zone, be exceptionally careful. If you run into roadblocks, if you see deputies with flashing lights, if they're telling you to slow down, by all means follow their instructions. Even if you've got pressing business or something, be exceptionally cautious as the sun goes down, and these guys are going to be standing out here in the dark. We want everybody to be able to go home at the end of the night. So if you are in the fireground area or you're worried about your place or your safety or your pets, I did talk to one guy who's 2 miles from the fire, and he said that he's watching it very closely and he's ready to grab his kids and his animals and hit the road if need be to the Elmendorf City Hall. That's where evacuees are being asked to show up. While we wait for the ESD2 PIO to show up, we're just getting a little view of the sunset as the sun goes down here in South Bexar County. All right. Zane, I don't have a scanner on me right this moment. There's a person here who has one. I don't know what it is, and it's not mine, so I'm not going to brag about his scanner. However, you might check out broadcastify.com and click on the Listen Live map, and then you might dial down to Bexar County. And I don't know if the tactical channel that they are working on is on the free version of Broadcastify, but there is a free version of Broadcastify that includes the dispatch channels that you might be able to access. I personally pay the $30 for a year subscription because I use it a lot. But what was it? ESD, the Fireground 7. It was Bexar County Fireground 7 West is where we were listening to the radio channel chatter earlier. And we are still awaiting the arrival of the public information officer. All right. I think we're going to turn the camera back around to the traffic in case something happens here while people are not paying attention. I just want to urge everybody that might be out here in the fire zone or trying to get home as the light begins to leave us. These deputies are out here. It's about to be really dark here. There are no street lights in this whole area, and it's about to get dark. So if you're traveling out here in the area around 1604, Applewhite, or the general area, use extreme caution for these first responders. So now we're at 30% containment, updated less than a minute ago. I've got the Watch Duty app that we're monitoring here. They're saying the Silver Mountain fire is 400 acres, 30% contained as of, it says updated less than 1 minute ago. That's 8:24 p.m. So that's the latest and greatest according to this app that we've got here on the phone in case you want to follow along. I am guilty of listening to a lot of scanners, I will admit that. I can't often repeat everything I hear on the scanners. I can only repeat what I see with my eyes. And what I see with my eyes, I did see a helicopter with a water bucket earlier, putting water on the fire. That was nice. It's just a reminder how many different kinds of help are on the fight out there. I'm gonna go check my email and see if anybody has provided me with any additional information. So in case you're just joining us, I'm going to start from the top. This is Sue Kalberg with KENS 5, San Antonio Zone. Many of you are. And we are here on the south side of Bexar County with the cicadas, singing you a little song. And we are at the corner of 1604 and Applewhite Road, where firefighters have been involved in an aggressive battle to contain a brush fire that they're calling the Silver Mountain Fire, because it started out in the 1600 block of Silver Mountain and has grown to 400 acres in size with 30% containment according to the app that we're monitoring out here. And ESD2 has the Fire Ground Command Emergency Services District. That's what ESD means. ESD6 is supposed to be out here. Bexar County has other units. I've seen a unit from Atascosa County. San Antonio Fire did confirm for us that they have some units on scene as well, but we don't know how many. So there are numerous. We saw Texas Forest Service assets here arriving, and lots of Bexar County Sheriff's deputies. So it's a big effort as the sun sets and the darkness is coming on here. And it's going to get even more dangerous for these people that are coming in and out of here. I don't know how far they're going for water. I'm not seeing water trucks come in and out on our side of the fire. And I'm not seeing the crowd grow significantly either. I was thinking, you know, as the evening wears on and hopefully most people got home and most people are paying attention. You know, see, here's another example of somebody that obviously wants to go home or wants to get through the line. And are they going to let them through? All right. Somebody gets to go through the line. And here comes some more flashing lights. We have not had an official update on the number of evacuations. Initially, they said 30 homes on Silver Mountain had been evacuated and that they had opened evacuee facilities at the Elmendorf City Hall, which is not too far from here as the crow flies, Elmendorf from 1604 and Applewhite. Just to kind of give you an idea of where we are, the Toyota plant is probably 1 mile up the road on Applewhite. Here comes another flashing lights. Let's see who this is. Looks like an ESD. Well, he's the right department, Bexar County 2. It's a man with a tie. Perhaps he knows something. Do you have a light? Let's see if we can draw him to us.
Hello, how are y'all?
Hi, we're happy to see you.
Finally got the report. And, here to give you guys an update.
Do you have a microphone, dear? Do you need me? We're all going to get situated here. As you can imagine, there's more than one crew here. So we're going to get all set up.
Yep, sure.
And for the folks back at home, if you're listening, this is Rudy. Say your last name, sir. Say it.
Kaloff.
Khalaf. Khalaf. And you're with ESD2, Emergency Services District 2. All right, let me. Okay. Tell me a little bit about what's going on here.
Everybody's ready? You
Yes,
good?
sir.
Okay, so let me get my notes out here. And, okay, so initially we were dispatched for an unauthorized burn. An authorized burn, meaning that they had permission from the county to burn. And at some point, the fire had gotten out of control. We were dispatched at 14:53 to respond to this. Turns out the fire had spread rather quickly with a change in the wind, and initially started at that location. The fire it moved rather quickly, and the only thing that burned there at that residence, plus the direction it was going, was just a shed at that residence. There are no home losses. The people on Silver Mountain have been evacuated. Approximately 30 homes there have been evacuated. I don't have an actual amount of residents. Everybody who was evacuated, they're currently at the Elmendorf City Hall, and we don't have an estimated time frame for them yet as far as when they can return. The fire right now is approximately 400 acres involved, and we have about a 30% containment. So right now, like I said, we don't have an approximate time or return for them to return to their homes. We will be updating as much as we can, but as far as our firefighters and the departments, we have 10 fire departments out there. We have 33 units right now actively fighting fires. There are aerial drops coming from helicopters, and we do have 2 drone teams on site to monitor the perimeters of the fire to make sure that we're getting where we need to be.
I've seen some heavy equipment.
Yes,
Are you making
and
fire
so
breaks?
that's exactly what's going to be happening pretty soon. The Texas Forestry Service is also here, and as you can see, those dozers that are coming in are going to be a huge relief for our firefighters that are actively on scene. That's all the information I have for you guys as of right now.
Are you interested in questions, or you're done?
You can ask questions, yeah.
These guys who have been here since the beginning, it's been hot and it's been a hard fight. Is there any plan to bring in additional relief for them as the evening wears on?
The teams that we have out here are swapping out, and we do have rehab set up for them, so they are getting the necessary I guess, essentials that they need as far as being rehabbed with taking breaks, making sure they're hydrated, and we did have one firefighter have heat exhaustion, and they were treated on scene and released back to duty. And so, obviously, with this heat and these 100-degree days, we want to take extreme precautions on our firefighters. So we're swapping them out and making sure they're rehabbing periodically.
And in addition to the aerial drops of water, how far are you having to go to get water for your tenders, and how far do they have to go back and forth to bring water to the fire ground?
I don't have an answer for that question, but that's something I can come back and update y'all with.
Is the helicopter going to the lake right across the way?
I don't have an answer for that either, but
Okay.
I'd imagine that would be a really good source for them.
Okay. No injuries to civilians?
No civilian injuries reported. No injuries to any livestock or anything like that. So,
For the people who are waiting here outside the containment zone, do you have any clues or any hope for them? Or there's a gentleman over there who said he would like to know, like he lives on Silver Mountain, and he's got a family member who needs medication. So for the folks who are worried about their relatives or their needs or their medicines as the night goes on, do you have any clues about what they should do for relief?
as of right now, like we said, they're all people that were displaced from Silver Mountain and evacuated. They're all at the City Hall there in
Elmendorf.
Elmendorf, right? So,
Yeah. But if they have things at their house that they need, they're just going to have to be patient.
right. So we're working as hard as we can to make sure that we're not going to let the fire spread to any of these homes. That we have teams in place to protect those homes, but more importantly, we're looking to extinguish the fire so that we can get them back to their homes. And I just don't have a time frame yet on that.
So can you talk to me a little bit about some of your concerns as we go into the nighttime hours here? It's going to get even more dangerous for your firefighters.
Well, the concern is always going to be the wind shift and what's going on at night, right? Usually it dies down. Right now we're having some kind of windy activity. It's not usual behavior, but we're just going to have to be very diligent in what we're doing tonight. So it doesn't look like there's going to be a whole lot of sleeping or rest going on for any of our firefighters.
Can you give me the update, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So just going back, recapping, approximately 400 acres that have been burned. We have about a 30% containment on the 400 acres. We have 33 units out there, 10 fire departments involved. We have aerial drops coming in with helicopters. We also have 2 drone teams out there, and the Texas Forestry Service just rolled in and with their dozers, and we're looking to start initiating fire breaks and getting better containment. That's pretty much what we got going on right now.
That was awesome when they arrived, right? With their big toys.
Yeah, we always
They've got great tools.
We always love seeing them show up.
Yes, sir. Do you expect to evacuate more people in the surrounding area?
At this time, no, we don't, but it's all depending on the weather. So,
And I was at Elmendorf City Hall. I spoke with, I believe, emergency management, and they said no one has shown up. Do you all expect people, as it gets dark, do you expect people to go over there and, I guess, get help through Red Cross if they're not able to get to their property?
this is a situation, we're still going over everything. We're still making sure that we're covering everything that we have to do. And so the people that are displaced, I'm sure there's a plan in place and something being worked out for them. I don't have an update to that information, but that's something I can update you guys with when it comes in.
And are people allowed, if they live on, I guess, on the outskirts over here, are people allowed to come in?
If you live off of Silver Mountain, or you're headed that direction towards Silver Mountain, right now they're not going to let you in. There's still active fire going, and like I said, we have 30% containment, and they're just looking to make sure that we're not going to lose any casualties or anybody hindering what's happening right now. The effort to extinguish the fire.
And the fire ground is mainly east of Applewhite Road on Silver Mountain, yes?
I don't have an answer for that one. So.
So we'll wait here for your next update, if you have one.
Yeah.
You'll be back with us when you know more? Awesome. Keep up the good work. Godspeed. Safety to all.
Thank you.
Strap that mic.
Do you want to ask if there's any way to get in there, do you think?
Oh yeah, that's all good. Appreciate you.
So what we've done is we established a temporary shelter location over at Elmendorf City Hall for those residents to go to if they so wish. They're not required to. As you can see, you know, people are here waiting to go back to their properties as well. And as you mentioned, you just came over from there. So, but we have offered that assistance to them if they would. So if they want somewhere to stay cool or rest while they wait until they can go back to their property.
What is it, shelter?
The Elmendorf City Hall.
Okay.
Yep.
And do you know the reason of the fire or not yet?
No, I'd leave that to the fire department and the fire marshals who are doing the investigation.
And, sir, I'm sorry, but I wasn't taking notes at the time. What is your title?
Deputy Chief with the Bexar County Office of Emergency Management.
Okay, we appreciate your service.
Yeah, of course.
And sir, people are able to leave and go if they're living not on that street
Correct.
where the fire is?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
Is there any concern? I spoke to a lady earlier. She said her parents are like 2 streets away.
Yeah.
They're elderly.
Sure.
Is there a protocol for like if the fire just suddenly, I don't know, directions?
Well, you know, just like we did with this fire in particular, there was it was a small cluster of homes down that street, right? And so they were able to go door to door and make those evacuations of those residents. We would do the same thing if it ends up encroaching other people's homes. We would conduct that evacuation of those residents in particular. Another thing that we generally do from our office is anytime we start doing evacuations of a particular area, if residents are registered with the State of Texas Emergency Assistance Registry, we'll look them up to make sure that if they need additional assistance to get out of their residence, so we make sure that we prioritize those residents as well. So if people do have, you know, this kind of a call, if they have access and functional needs in the community, I'd recommend that they register for that system.
But in the meantime, tonight, if
Yeah.
somebody thinks they're getting into trouble, 335-6000, call Bexar County, or what should people do if they get into trouble tonight and they're not registered?
Yeah, so if they're not registered, definitely they can reach the 335-6000 number. If they're in immediate danger, I mean, don't hesitate to call 911, and we'll get appropriate crews to their residence.
I know notification was a big deal in Kerrville,
Yes, ma'am.
and so that's good that you're going door to door.
Yeah, you know, I think that there's a time and place for us to submit those notifications to the residents. In the case of which, much like what we dealt with the Duke fire, if we're able to go door to door, that's our preferred method. If it involves a wide population density, right, then maybe the mass notification is our best way to go, especially if it's imminent, right? So in this case, we were able to go door to door to those residents.
And And that's especially important in a rural area like this when you've got a lot of elderly, a lot of people on fixed income, a lot of
Right.
not much cell service in some areas. There's
Correct,
some people
yeah.
that aren't going to get emergency notifications by cell, so
Sure.
the personal touch matters.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and we just want to make sure people are safe, and that's why we've evacuated from their homes. As you heard earlier with Khalif, there's no homes have been destroyed. Right. That's our goal. Right. It's safety of the personnel, and then it's property preservation. Right. And so the firefighters have done a great job in making sure that didn't happen.
Great. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Godspeed and safety to all.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Yeah, no problem. I just reached out to the.
Okay, so I'm going to recap from the top in case you joined the feed during the last few minutes here. The dispatch time was 14:53 in military time. That's 2:53 this afternoon. So they have been on the fire ground here for quite some time, fighting this fire. And as he said off the top, we heard from the public information officer from Rudy Kaloff from Emergency Services District 2. And what he said was they were called at 2:53 this afternoon for what started out as an authorized burn. Somebody had done what they were supposed to do. They called it in. They were, in a lot of rural areas, people do burn trash. That's how they manage their property. And there's a lot of people who burn brush. And, not everybody puts their stuff in a trash can and has it hauled away. So anyways, some property owner, and I believe it was the 1600 block of Silver Mountain, was doing an authorized burn, but somehow it got away from them, and because the wind and speed and direction, it got a quick hold and it started moving. Now, at the house of origin, he says that the fire destroyed one shed on the property, but it did not hurt the house. And I think that's important to consider, that there have been no injuries to people, to the residents. One firefighter was treated on scene for a little bit of heat exhaustion, but he says that firefighter did some rehab here on scene and then returned to duty. And then it's also important to note that no homes have been lost, even though this fire has grown from a small contained fire at one house to now 400 acres and is 30% contained. And if you want to look on your map and see where we are, Silver Mountain is a street that is a couple of miles south of Loop 1604. There we go. That it says Texas Towing, but that is a San Antonio Fire Department brush land fire. It's got a hose on it. That's one of the things that they use for spot treatment in brush fires. So that is one of the units from San Antonio Fire that's here. We don't know how many San Antonio units are here, but in his summary, he gave us a summary of who and where what we have going on here. So back to the summary that we just got from ESD2. The fire did start on Silver Mountain. 30 homes on Silver Mountain were evacuated at the time when the fire got away from its source, from its origin. They have opened a shelter at Elmendorf City Hall. Now, somebody else who was here said that they went by Elmendorf City Hall and they didn't find anybody there. But as the evening wears on, if people in the area don't feel comfortable going back to their houses or getting into the area, they will be able to take advantage of the facilities at Elmendorf City Hall. They have not given a time frame for when they might be able to get this under control, because they say it's at 400 acres with only 30% containment, 10 departments, 33 fire units on scene. They're getting aerial help, he said, from helicopters, and he did say plural. He did not specify whose helicopter. Earlier we had heard that there was a helicopter from San Antonio Fire Department, but he didn't answer that one specifically. He also said there were 2 drones on the outskirts of the fire, keeping an eye on the perimeter of the fire to see that, to make sure that they stayed ahead of it. He also said that the Texas Forest Service has resources on the ground, including dozers that will create some fire breaks so that they can get ahead of this fire and hopefully contain it a little better. So that is what we know for the moment, except to say that the firefighters are working as hard as they can, and they are taking breaks. They're rehabbing and recycling the firefighters as they can. There's Allegiance, Mobile Health, an ambulance. There's another little firefighting type vehicle going back into the fire ground. Bexar County Sheriff is coming out. I also saw some units from Atascosa County coming in earlier. So it is a broad-based effort to get this fire under containment. And as the sun starts to set here and it gets darker and darker, it's going to be harder than ever for us to see what's going on with regard to the actual smoke in the area. But we are here at the command post at Loop 1604 and Applewhite Road with folks who are primarily being turned away. Now they told us that anybody who lives on Applewhite will be allowed to go into the area. Anybody who lives on the street where the fire is actually taking place will not be allowed to return home until they get things contained to their satisfaction. I'm going to put my notes down and go back in time and see what else I can learn on the feed here, see if there's any other information being posted online. If you guys want to chime in and be citizen journalists, feel free to add what you know. Maybe somebody can check the temperature. That would be great, because those firefighters, man, they're out in it. Okay, so it's Sue Kalberg with KINS 5, and I'm back with you. I was over checking my email, and we did get an email from Mark Montgomery of Bexar County 2, and I'm just going to go ahead and read what he had to say. He's the assistant fire chief, and so it's basically a rehash of what we were just told by the Public Information Officer, Division Chief Kalaf. But I think that we've always got new people joining us as people get to this roadblock and are trying to figure out what's going on. So I'm just going to read what we got from Bexar County 2. This afternoon at 2:44 p.m., Bexar County ESD 2 was dispatched to the 1600 block of Silver Mountain Drive for a grass or brush fire. Based on the information from the caller, Bexar County Fire dispatchers upgraded this to a structure fire response shortly afterwards. The first arriving units reported a controlled burn that had become out of control and was rapidly spreading to adjacent vehicles and homes. With the assistance from Bexar County Sheriff's Office and our law enforcement partners, the homes in direct line of fire spread were evacuated. Initially, they said about 30, by the way. Some residents have taken shelter at the Elmendorf Community Center pending control of the fire. Incident Command reports an estimated 60 acres being involved. That was earlier. Obviously, let's see, the timestamp on this email was 8:23, so that was at least half an hour ago. So we have updated information. The fire is now about 400 acres with 30% containment. Yeah, some of these numbers are outdated already from what we got from the Public Information Officer. He was here just a few minutes ago. He said 400 acres, 30% containment, 10 different departments, 33 units with aerial help from helicopters and surveillance from drones. So as you can see, it's a big effort here. He said they are also getting help from Atascosa County and from San Antonio. We have seen some San Antonio units coming and going here. Firefighting efforts were hampered by terrain and shifting winds, which led to the rapid spread. Wildland personnel will likely be conducting back burns to prevent the fire from spreading to other unaffected areas. In case you've never heard of a backfire, it's exactly what it sounds like. They go out ahead of the fire, they do some fire breaks, and they actually burn areas ahead of the fire in a controlled manner so that when the head of the fire comes along, this says 50% contained. The watch duty app is now saying 50% contained. That's awesome. So anyway, a back burn, yeah, is exactly what it sounds like. And they start a fire that they can control so that when the head of the fire reaches them, it's got no fuel and it burns itself out. So they also say no civilians have been injured, no known pets or livestock have been harmed, no homes lost. One firefighter was treated and released on scene by EMS personnel for heat exhaustion. So we did ask when it's convenient and when it wouldn't put anybody at risk if somebody from the media corps could go in and get some video on the actual fire ground. So we're waiting for an answer about that. We told them safety first, media last. So we're waiting for another update because it's now way too dark to see the smoke on the horizon. I'm going to step away for a moment and I'll be back with you as soon as I've got some new information here at the corner of Applewhite Road and 1604, where a fairly large scale brush fire of 400 acres or so is burning. They're saying 30% containment started in the 1600 block of Silver Mountain Drive. I'll be back with you when I have more.
grab you batteries after this?
Oh, I got batteries. Like this one.
Oh, okay. Do you, sorry, it might be a little bright. You don't have to look into the left.
As long as there's no ants, I'm cool.
Yeah, now we can see a
Okay.
little bit.
How close? I don't,
Oh, you
don't-
can take a few steps closer.
Okay. Do you have a filter?
Yeah, we don't know.
Okay, thank God. Make the pretty filter. Oh.
Oh, no, not you. Not you.
Oh, sorry.
You make it right here. As long as you're pointing at her mouth, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Am I good right here?
Actually, you move this way. Just hold it up.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay, you'll just look at me. You don't have to look
Okay.
into the camera.
Okay.
Can you say your first and last name for me?
Cecilia Padilla.
Can you spell it?
First name is Cecilia. Last name is Padilla.
And kind of talk to me about, why you came out here.
So the fire was a street. Well, from what I read, it was on Silver Mountain, which is it immediately concerned me because my mom lives on one of the streets, catty corner, very close. She's not very far down from Silver Mountain. So I immediately started calling to find out what's the perimeter, what homes are their homes affected. I finally got to Bexar County Fire Dispatch, and she advised me that they didn't have very much information and to go to Elmendorf City Hall. I arrived there. There was nobody there. There was one gentleman there who was able to give me some information, but not a whole lot. I think there's just some communication, like miscommunication. I think to let the general public know, okay, well, this is where it is right now. I know they gave an amount that was contained, which is perfectly fine. But my concern was with whoever's here. I know they did door-to-door evacuations, but the people that are not home, do they have any idea what's happening? The older population who hasn't registered like a cell phone to get any kind of notifications, because my mom didn't know. I called her to make sure she was not home or see where she was, and luckily she wasn't here. But I needed to get her a better idea of what to tell her and find out, A, is her house still there? B, when can they go back? And so far, there's not much information being given. So that's kind of why I came here to see. And obviously they have the whole main road closed down. So no telling. So my main concern is, when can she come home? Or will she have a home to come home to? That's pretty much it. So I'm kind of waiting to see if somebody will say, or if I can give somebody has a list of phone numbers to tell them, here, this is her number, call her when the all clear, or if somebody will give the all clear to let folks know when they can come home.
Yeah, and she was not home when this was happening.
No.
Where is she now?
She was out at dinner with a family member, so she had no idea that this was even happening. So I rushed as quickly as I could to kind of find out what I could do or what information to give her so that she wouldn't completely panic.
When you see that, what goes through your mind?
That's alarming. It's huge, and I know how far it is from 1604 and Applewhite to Silver Mountain, and that looks closer than expected. I don't know fire well enough to know what it looks like at a distance or how to gauge where it's at. So I was hoping to find online some kind of a fire map. I couldn't find anything yet. I'm going to look again. But I'd like to get an idea of, okay, where is it now? Because we know when direction changes, any little ember can spark another section of fire, and it can happen very quickly with as dry as we have. Well, Texas is usually really dry, but yeah.
Have you, you obviously live in a more rural area.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming you live in the area as well.
No, I grew up here.
You grew up here.
But now I live in the city.
Oh, okay. But are y'all used to grass fires?
No,
Have you seen
I've
anything like
never.
this?
No. The last one that I worried about that was worrisome, not super close because I didn't have a very good idea where it was the Duke fire. And then the fire that was happening around that same time, I forgot what that was called, but it was further east. Sorry, I was trying to east. Anyway, so knowing that this one was literally in her neighborhood, the next street over from where she lives, it bothered me. And I needed to find out, how do we proceed? How do we go? Where do we go from here?
Absolutely. And are your thoughts just with those first responders that are fighting it right now?
Of course, yes. But it's a dangerous situation. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Anything else you want to add?
No. Kind of hoping that they organize a little better as far as communicating. I know these guys have a job to do, so no fault of their own, but I think as a whole, communication with the public is very important. for a very large subdivision. People need to get home. People need to go to work. Some people work from home. So, and nobody, I've talked to a lot of people that are out here, and nobody really knows what the status is. Where are we going? Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? Where is it? So
Well,
that's
thank
pretty much
you
it.
so much. Yeah, I know that at last check it was 50% contained.
Okay, good.
So
It's getting better.
it's getting better. At least we're making progress, right?
And I know it's
Yeah. Well, thank you. I hope
okay.
that
I appreciate it.
hope that y'all can get home or your mom can get home sooner than later.
Awesome. Thanks.
right, you'll just look at me. Sorry, everybody.
Like, I'm not staying with anything.
Oh yeah, can you take a few steps that way?
You can stand right here, Megan.
Okay.
Just slide on.
Sorry. Sure you didn't think this was in your
No, I got off of work.
Yeah.
I got off of work. I work at an animal clinic, so I'm just like all tired and.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
You ready? Okay, so if you could just say your first last name and spell it for me.
Right. My name is Camila Ojeda, Camilaojeda.
And explain, what you're doing over here where the fire was starting.
I live here. I live over the first street off of Silver Mountain.
But you were explaining how you just got off.
Oh, right. So yeah, I got off of work not like at 5 o'clock, and I came back to meet my mom, and my mom was like, "Hey, you can't cross," and I was like, "Why?" And they were saying our house, or like